FM 1021 and AM 1450.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for Huddling with the Herd here on a Saturday in Yankton, South Dakota, September 6th. We got the Bucks football coaching staff in studio today. We're also talking soccer, Bucks golf, Gazelles tennis, cross country, cheer and dance, volleyball. We got it all for you. If it's happening in Yankton Bucks and Gazelles athletics, it's happening here on Huddling with the Herd. Big statement win from the Yankton Bucks football program last night, taking a doubling up the defending Class 11 AA state champion Watertown Arrows, 52-26. We'll hear from the coaching staff momentarily in a couple minutes here to get things rolling. Peek behind the curtain. We got to get an intro changed. I spaced that one this week. So that's your explanation for that. But I digress here on KYNT and streaming live on KYN TV. This is Huddling with the Herd. I am Brayden Butler. Got a full lineup again, like I said. Football, soccer, volleyball, cross country, tennis, golf, competitive cheer and dance. All of it's going to get covered today here on Huddling with the Herd. If you need to know what's going on in Yankton athletics, you need to keep it tuned right here to KYNT and KYN TV. We're going to take our first break here on Huddling with the Herd. When we come back in a couple of minutes, we'll get things rolling. We'll talk to Brady Muth, head Bucks football coach, and Justin Olson as well, a defensive coordinator for Yankton. After their big win last night, a few things that they're going to want to clean up. I know Coach Muth and Coach Olson are going to agree on that, but hard to be upset when you drop 50 on the defending AA state champions. We're going to come back in a couple minutes, keep things rolling here on Huddling with the Herd. KYNT, KYN TV. We're back after this.
Vision Care Associates, where the health of your eyes comes first. We offer expertise and experience, where your long-term eye care is our concern. State-of-the-art technology, where we never lose sight of quality. Vision Care Associates, where the health of your eyes comes first.
Mount Marty is committed to excellence in nursing.
We really go the extra mile to care for our students as a whole person. My name is Crystal Diedrichsen. I am an associate professor of nursing at Mount Marty. As a Catholic Benedictine university, we can incorporate God and prayer in our regular classwork and interactions with students. And in addition to that, we care about the students in other aspects of their lives.
Start your journey at mountmarty.edu.
FNBO is the great big small bank. And for more than 165 years, we've been with you where you are. A bank that's ready for all your needs, both big and small. Here to help you earn more, save more, so you can do more every step of the way. It's what you can expect from the great big small bank. FNBO, independent and family owned for 6 generations, and ever so focused on you. Stop on by or visit us at fnbo.com, member FDIC.
If you want a job where your work matters, you belong at Avera. Here, we've invested in our workforce because every Avera team member drives our health ministry forward, making a difference in lives and communities every day. We offer competitive pay, great health insurance, and even career opportunities. We're putting people first, including you. Search for local job openings and apply at avera.org/careers.
More pay, more benefits, more opportunity. Parker of Yankton is hiring second shift assemblers and a variety of other positions. With competitive wages plus a night shift pay differential. Enjoy great health insurance, paid time off, retirement benefits, and a team that helps you succeed. Whether you're starting fresh or looking to advance, this is your chance to earn more while building a career you can count on. Don't wait. Apply today and make your next move your best move.
Parker, engineering your success.
Do you have a pest problem? Bed bugs, bats in the attic, termite damage, earwigs? Olson's Pest Technicians can tackle any of your pest problems. Family owned and operated with over 80 years of pest experience in South Dakota, Minnesota, and Iowa. Proven pest methods include Centricon bait stations for termites and Vicane treatments for bed bugs. Even the toughest pest infestations don't stand a chance. Olson's Pest Technicians, putting pests to rest since 1966. Call 800-KIL-BUGS.
Welcome back in here on Huddling with the Herd. First time this season we get the Yankton Bucks football coaching staff on the mics, and it starts at the top. Head coach Brady Muth, defensive coordinator Justin Olson. You guys coming off a big win last night against the Watertown Arrows, getting some revenge for a loss last year, and also a little early season statement against the defending champions of Class 11 AA.
Yeah, it was a fun game. I mean, we've talked about it just, from last night to this morning, and it feels like we played like 3 football games in that span of one game. There was a lot of ups and downs and some changes, and so to come out of there with a win and everybody came out healthy for the most part. I mean, it was a good night.
And I want to flash back a little bit because it seems like similar situations in your first 2 games so far. You're carrying a lead at the end of the first half. A couple other teams able to score on you, make it really close at the break, but you guys come out, make those adjustments into the second half. It's, I always think that good coaches can have a game plan at the start. Those great coaches are the ones that make the adjustments to go win the game, and you guys have done that now back-to-back weeks.
Yeah, that's a credit to our coordinators. The amount of work that goes in. I think you asked me, what did you say to them at halftime? Well, there's no Friday Night Lights scene that's going on in a locker room at halftime when there's adjustments to be made, and both Coach Olson and Coach Huber and Coach Hale made some really key adjustments that made some differences, and so I mean, when you've got a coaching staff that has knowledge to know what to do and then has guts to pull the trigger on making an adjustment, because you're committing to just one thing there, and I think that's a credit to our coaching staff and our kids with the way they respond to it.
And Coach Olson, I want to shine some light on your defense. 26 points on the board for Watertown, but a few mistakes in the special teams game, a couple blocked punts, returned for kicks. You guys only gave up one touchdown, 2 touchdowns on offense, and one of them was just a long play down the field. So I thought the defense played super, super well yesterday, keeping the Watertown offense contained.
Yeah, thank you. We our emphasis, this year and every year is to be faster and more physical than the team across from us, and know what we're doing. We lost some key players at the linebacker position. 2 All-Staters, 1 All-American, and Matthew Sheldon, and replaced by 2 guys that are relatively new. But we still flew around. We still had fun. We shut down the run. That was our intention, and we wanted to get the ball up in the air. And despite some communication issues that we had, that allowed some a big play down there, and then one in the end zone, some miscommunication there. I thought we had a pretty solid game plan against them, and the kids executed it. And the main thing, they're having fun, and they're bought in, and that's kind of what our mantra is, that from special teams to offense to defense, it's a total buy-in to the Buck football program. And I think credit to Coach Muth, since he took over, that's kind of where the groundwork has been laid, is developed. I know we hate this word culture, but it's more of just extending the tradition on, I would say, and just having, solid all 3 phases of the game. And last night they came out and they did what they needed to do, and it was fun to watch them play. And you send a call in and just see it execute, and that's makes any coordinator the happiest guy in the world. Then they're 16, 17-year-olds, some 18-year-olds out there, and they're gonna make mistakes, and that's a great learning moment for them too. So and early on we made some adjustments, and it worked out for us. So happy with the defense. They played lights out last night. It was fun to watch.
I know defense, it's a full 11-guy effort. You got to move as one unit, but there are 3 names that I specifically want to bring attention to. Cale Hazelhorst gets another interception, takes it basically goal line to goal line on a pick 6. I thought Gavin Johnson, especially in that first quarter, really established himself, getting in the backfield a couple times, bats a ball down at the line of scrimmage late in the fourth quarter too. And I was actually talking to Coach Muth before we came on the air. I feel like we don't call Miles Drotzman's name at all in coverage, and that's a good thing with a cornerback like him. They don't throw to his side of the field.
Absolutely. Those 3 guys are very integral. Miles and Cale are returners. And Cale, he's worked his tail off. He's set his goals high. And he got another pick and took that one to the house, which was really fun to watch. And with Miles on the outside, you said it best. I mean, if you're not noticing the guy, the guy, I'll say this about Miles, and I know Miles very well, and the kid can catch when he's on offense. He, for some reason on defense, the past couple years, it hits his hands and he can't reel it. Maybe it's a different spin. I don't know. He's going backwards, coming forward. I don't know what the case may be, but now he's the club. That's his new nickname. And I'm thinking maybe, I don't know if it's going to help him or hurt him, but he played lights out, shutdown corner. And, coming in, that's great. And then Gavin Johnson in a new role, trying to find a way to get him on the field. And he's settled into that our Apex Rover role quite well. And hard-nosed kid. And I thought he played a whale of a game.
Yep.
So that was hats off to all three of those guys. And the rest of the defense who rallied around because our D-line did what they needed to do against their offensive line, which they have some dudes. And, I thought that we got all hats of the ball because they have some tough runners. And, those three, though, did stand out. And it's going to help our team moving forward as they still have steps to take too, which will be fun to see them develop as well.
I told talking to Josh Bolter at the end of the broadcast yesterday, it's still obviously an unfinished product. You're not finished in week 2, but if that's an unfinished product on the field and they're looking like that, I can't wait to see what you guys can mold these guys into down the stretch when we get into October and maybe in November as well. I know that's the goal for you guys to get back into a deep playoff run and go to the Dome. You mentioned the trenches, and it was a different matchup in the trenches for you guys this week compared to last week against Huron. Huron a little smaller in the line. Watertown had a lot of meat up front, but I felt like Yankton for the last 2 weeks now has really won that battle in the middle.
That, and I think last night, compared to the week before, we were way more physical last night than we had been the week before. Maybe that's just getting a game 1 under your belt and being done with it, but we're going to see it here in a couple of minutes when we go through film with the guys, but there were a lot of people that were on their back. Our offensive line did a pretty good job of putting people on the ground. And I think we ran for right at 100 yards for the night. But here's the thing. We want to run the ball, but run the ball effectively. And with the way our offense works, you're going to run the ball when you want to run the ball, and if they're going to let you throw the ball, then we're going to throw the ball. And Watertown just did not want to back off on coverage, and they did at the end of the game, but we were still able to find open spots. But then that's when you see in the second half things start to open up a little bit more for the run. And again, credit to our strength and conditioning because, by the fourth quarter, everybody's worn down and our guys are still clicking at a pretty good pace.
Yeah, our unofficial stats in the booth had you guys right at 100 yards rushing, over 300 yards passing for Tate Bestie in that offense, and that goes, like you said, that defense isn't backing off on the coverage aspect. You're going to throw it out.
Right, and or not. You saw, a lot of those little quick shots right out the outside, those are called run plays, and those aren't on the front, on the business end of an RPO. That's just a gift read that we're taking because they're not covering it or they're not in the space they should be, and so you start. When you've got a quarterback that understands what he's doing in the ball, the one thing that Tate's doing really good right now is the ball is coming out really, really quick. He's making quick decisions and the right decisions. And so when you've got a guy that's willing and able to pull the trigger and take advantage of what they're going to give you, our offense is going to click. And there are a lot of things we have to get cleaned up, like starting behind the sticks on almost every drive, getting 15 yards instead of 10. Those types of things got to get fixed. But they do have a really, really good understanding of what they're trying to do offensively right now.
And I was going to bring up those procedural issues, just starting behind the sticks, but you kind of hit it there, just something you want to clean up.
Well, yeah, and holding and pass interference and those types of things, you can live with those because it's in a play, and you're not going to tell a kid to stop. You can tell them to stop holding, but you'd want them to block, so just keep your mouth shut and move past the play from a coaching point of view. But procedural penalties like offsides, formation things, and some of that's on us too because we are trying to be a little bit sneaky, covering guys up and hiding people. We just are out sneaking ourselves. We're not. We're trying to do certain things, but we're just not executing. And that's, again, I'm not going to make excuses ever, but it is early on, and we just, simple things like checking with the referee to make sure that you're on or off and listening to them, those kind of things. But if you notice, quarter by quarter by quarter, series by series, they're getting better. They're cleaning those things up.
It's the old good, better, best, never let it rest for you guys out there.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I had one final question for you here before we turn you loose. Douglas next week. You guys got a favorable schedule for home games this year. 5 home games on the schedule now. Douglas comes here next week, so that's one less West River trip for you guys. What are you expecting from them?
Well, we're going to talk about this, and I'm not trying to be brash or anything, but we're going to be picked to win this game. and that's okay. We're going to have to start living with those expectations. But with that, you can't just go into it thinking we're going to win the game. It's how are we going to win the game, and that really is the message. We go into every game thinking we're going to win it. This is a game where it's how you win the game. All of the things that we are having a problem with, we have to get those cleaned up. And so how we win this game is going to really matter this week.
Exactly, and that's one of the things where even on the bus, I mean, the kids they're lively on the bus ride home after the game, and then Douglas got brought up, and they're like, this is gonna be an easy one, and I'm like, wait a minute, so this is gonna be a tough game for us because it's our next one on the schedule, and that's what we preach. So in practice going forward, or starting actually today in film, okay, as we start watching some of what they're all about. We got to, just like Coach said, their mentality needs to be how we're going to win this game, okay, and not take a break, because we got to come out just like we came out against Watertown. Like it's every game's a state championship game. That's our mentality, and if that mentality gets us all the way to the Dome, great. At least we know that we gave it our all in every single game, and then if the score at the end dictates, and we get everybody in, even better. So our mentality and focus this week is going to be, we get to clean our stuff up, and just go out and go have fun and just keep on playing Yankton football.
Well, Coach Muth, Coach Olson, thanks for taking time to talk this morning. I appreciate having you in here on Huddling with the Herd. Any final thoughts for either of you before we turn you loose?
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks, absolutely.
As
appreciate
always,
you.
Go Bucks. Thank you both.
Thanks.
Coaches, congrats on the win last night. We'll talk to you again next week. That's Coach Muth and Coach Olson here on Huddling with the Herd. We're back after this break.
Lucky for us, life is full of choices, big and small. They define us, make us who we are. And when it comes time for you to choose a car, home, your next big adventure, or start a new business, Farmers Union Insurance has the variety of coverage options to protect each perfect moment. Farmers Union Insurance.
For coverage you can count on, call Brendan Hansen or Brandon Tykrow in Yankton today.
If you've been suffering from chronic pain or a recent injury, check us out, Lane, Reed, and Cole Sawatsky at SWAT Chiropractic and Rehab. We offer a wide variety of treatments and techniques, including dry needling, cupping, chiropractic adjustments, and sports rehabilitation. Our mission is to ensure an individualized and efficient treatment plan to get you back on your feet. From ankle sprains and sports injuries to neck pain and headaches, we've got your back.
Give us a call or book an appointment on our website. SWAT Chiropractic, specialized wellness and therapy.
Now located on Summit Street across from the high school.
When you make the right decision, it feels good. Like picking the perfect accent rug or choosing a good night's sleep over an all-night crime show binge. It feels really good to make the right insurance decision too. That's why State Farm agent Rhonda Westland is right here in Yankton to help you select the right protection at the right price. Rhonda will make sure you understand your State Farm coverages so you'll know what to expect if the unexpected happens. With State Farm agent Rhonda Westland, it's easy to make the right choice. Just call her. When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Looking for the perfect pair of glasses? At Vision Care Associates, we've got you covered. Step into our showroom and discover our vast selection from timeless classics to the latest trends. With several styles to choose from, you're sure to find the perfect match for your look. Experience personalized service and expert care, whether you need help finding the right frame or adjusting your new glasses for the perfect fit.
Vision Care Associates, where the health of your eyes comes first.
Credit union people are my people. Dreaming big, keeping life simple. Saving smart, living free. At Explorers Credit Union, you're just like me. We chart new trails, we stand tall. Together we rise, together we call. Credit union people are my people, it's true. And I found my crew at Explorers CU. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit ExplorerCU.com to join the journey today.
Have you heard about Slowey Management's latest upgrades at the Holiday Inn Express in Yankton? Well, it's some big news. Renovations are being done on all rooms and the hotel's breakfast area. Once all the work is complete, it'll be like stepping into a brand new hotel. If you're arranging rooms for business travelers or family, they will love the incredible improvements at the Holiday Inn Express in Yankton. And as always, for competitive rates and flexible reservation changes, contact the Holiday Inn Express direct.
Welcome back in here, KYNT, KYNTV. It's Huddling with the Herd, and we got the offensive coordinator, Terry Huber, and the special teams coordinator, Brady Hale, in here now for Yankton Bucks football. Big win last night. Offense ends up, well, defense helped, but offense and defense ended up putting 52 points on the board against the Watertown Arrows. Over 400 yards of total offense, 300 yards passing. So I guess that's the easiest way to transition right into the offensive coordinator. Beautiful day all around for Yankton on offense.
Yeah, a lot of fun last night. Guys were firing all cylinders. Got out, started pretty hot right away. Came up short on that first drive. Obviously, wasn't kind of, that's not our goal. We want to go down and score points every time. But the whole game they were trying to stay as consistent as possible. Got some things to clean up. But very proud of those guys. 400 yards of offense in a night is a lot of fun.
And we talked, you were able to come up and talk to us in the post game last night, too. And we talked about you always love the offensive line getting their flowers. And I think they worked really well last night. Ends up just a hair under 100 yards rushing, obviously holding up well for Tatum, the pass blocking game as well.
Yeah, those guys, they were playing really well last night, and kind of the mentality, and I say this always, and the guys get it. Some people are like, well, I don't know that, but we have to have that nasty mentality where you're going out there, and Coach Booth always talks about getting in a fight, and that's what they're doing. They're in the trenches every time, and the most excited they get is when they get to hold somebody up in the end zone after they're scoring a touchdown. And I absolutely love that mentality out of these guys. Those 5 guys up front, we got some good leaders, guys who are ready to go, ready to bring the team together. And, I thought they did a phenomenal job.
Now, I don't want to get any hate for it, but I'm a Cowboys fan, and I only bring that up.
Same here. Let's go.
There we go. I only bring that up because Tyler Booker had the quote during training camp of "You're doing calculus in a fist fight." That's what it means to play offensive line.
That's exactly what it is, and I think if you talk to these guys some of the times, that's exactly what they make. We try to make it as simple as possible, but you can only simplify it so much. You're reading safeties and linebackers, and you got all these different alignments that the defense is throwing at you, and you still have to do your job on each play. And they don't get any breaks. Those 5 are going down the whole drive. We're not subbing those guys out. They're going to play together, and they're going to get used to gelling together. So the conditioning is there as well. And it's like you said, it's a fist fight where they're working their butts off. So hats off to those guys for a great night.
The guy I want to give a lot of flowers to for his performance the first 2 weeks, and both of you could talk about him, you as offensive coordinator Huber, but also working with the wide receivers, Brady, is Oden Eisness, I think, has really shined these first 2 weeks. The kids just looked ridiculous out there against Huron and Watertown. Now had almost 100 yards last week, I think just over 150 receiving yards this week, and multiple touchdowns in both games.
Yeah, Owen is a guy who, he's one of the big leaders on our offense right now, and if you watch how he's running his routes, I honestly don't care how good you are in defense. It's about impossible to cover him because he is just that crisp on his technique, and he works to finely tune them. It's not just he's not comfortable with it. He wants to be better each rep, and throughout the week he's taken all scout team reps, all offensive reps. Like, he's doing as much as he can to help the team out and to make his craft better. And I just absolutely applaud the work that he's put in over the last couple of years to get to where he's at now.
And usually your wide receiver one, sometimes, or at least in the pros, you think that guy is kind of your prima donna, the wide receiver one, right? Talking to him earlier this week and the few other times I've been able to talk to him, I don't know how he's like around you guys, but to me, he seems super humble, down-to-earth kid. And that whole wide receiver room really seems that way when I get a chance to talk to him.
Yeah, Owen's a super nice kid. He's obviously was a part of our team last year and in a different capacity, but he's been a super talented wide receiver. And an even better person for just as long as I've known him. And we're really lucky to have a group of seniors that can lead that wideout group. We have Owen, Abe, and Boomsma that all kind of help lead that group. And then Cale Hazelhorse playing our tight end position, or our Y. And that's really cool to have all those leaders there. So, and they're all really good kids. And that's what's really special is they kind of make my job easy because they've been through this for 4 years, and they can kind of almost coach themselves at this point. They know what's expected of them. So it's been a really fun couple weeks, and I'm excited to see where things kind of keep going.
I know Coach Huber mentioned it on the broadcast last night in the post-game interview, but looking at these receivers, it really feels like they love watching each other succeed. Mm-hmm. Owen got a wealth of the target share in that first half. And the way Huber put it is those other guys in the room weren't dragging their feet, laying their heads down. They were excited for Owen to go out and get those yards, and then know that would open up opportunities for them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. They all have maximum effort, every play. Owen is one of those kids where if the coverage probably is shaded his way, he's probably still going to be open, just kind of the player he is. So sometimes the targets just work out like that because he's just open all the time. And those guys, that doesn't happen unless they're doing their job as well on the other side. So for those things to keep happening, and then, like you said, in the second half, it's like, just things are wide open because they're bracketing Owen or whatever they're doing, playing too high, things like that, open up the middle of the field for us. But, we're really proud of those kids and how they're just consistent every day. And, right, when their opportunity comes, they're ready to snatch it and make a play.
I don't know what you guys feed wide receivers in the Yankton football program, but I got here. My first year covering the team was 2022. I've seen Cody Oswald, Tyler Soler. I've seen Carson Ness. I've seen Connor Slaba. Tucker Gilmore was a solid tight end as well. Like, there's probably names I'm missing. Now you have this new batch. I feel it's just a conveyor belt of wide receiver talent for you guys.
I think some of that's just the culture in the program. Just kind of, we have good leaders, and then that breeds the same kind of thing in some of those younger kids that get to see that. So if you think back to, Cody Oswald and Tyler Soler and that kind of era, I'm sure some of these young kids were watching all that happen, and that's what they wanted to be when they were, seniors now. So that's just really cool. It's a tradition that can keep building on itself every year. And obviously those kids have worked really hard, and they're very good athletes. And that's what they really want to do, is be a successful wide receiver. So it's really fun to be a part of.
Switching gears here, we'll talk special teams a little bit. A bit of a mixed bag. You got a long field goal that was super close from Liam Villanueva. I know Coach Muth in the past said he's a big leg guy, but that really impressed me. I think 47 yards, just a little bit left. The down, a couple block punts, return for 6. Big positive is a 89-yard kick return touchdown for Tegan LaCroix. I thought was blocked really well, and obviously LaCroix found the space. So just talking about those ups and downs. We'll start with the negative and then work our way to the positive with the pump blocks, unfortunately, for Yankton.
Yeah, the pump blocks, that's something I need to watch a little more. I watched a few clips this morning, but I think that's fixable. Watertown, obviously, they had a good game plan, and they went and blocked them. I mean, there's 3 pump blocks for a reason, and we just got to get it fixed. Obviously, we'll have film after this to get a better grasp on what went on there, but whether that was our operation or snap maybe a little off, or maybe we missed a block here or there, but we'll get that fixed. But overall, I thought if you take away the 3 really, really, really big bad plays, special teams, at least for our group, we had one of our better games that we've ever had. Just obviously 3 overshadowing plays there, but I thought for the most part we covered kickoffs well. And when you have 52 points on the board, that's a lot of kickoffs you got to cover for a high school kid. So they all did a great job with that. And then the kickoff return touchdown, Tegan is one of the quickest in short areas. I mean, he's just he has an innate ability to just he gets places quicker than other people can, and he can move laterally. And so he did a great job. The ball was kicked deep left, and he was on the right hash before I could even blink my eye, and that gave us an advantage. And our kickoff return unit through 2 weeks has done really nice job of just playing as a unit, and they understand that this doesn't have success unless we're all doing our job. So that's been really cool to watch as a coach, is just to see those guys all play together and come together for a special play like that.
And a guy that I forgot to mention in the opening there, but I felt really bounced back on extra points, was Kevin Ortiz. Struggled a little bit last week in Huron. I believe perfect last night on the extra point attempts, and it came up just a little short on a 39-yard field goal there too. Yeah,
Kevin, obviously he's a soccer kid. He's got a lot going on during the week. And that first week, I think that was just a little bit of just lack of reps maybe, and maybe new holder. I guess I'm not going to make excuses for Kevin, but he knows he needs to make those, and he did. He came out and did it this week. And he's a kid that we have a lot of trust in because of his performance through, the last part of last year. And then obviously you see what he's capable of. He's capable of knocking all his PATs in, and then he made a nice, I think it was a 30-yard field goal that he did make. And then just to go back on Liam has a huge leg, and when we trotted him out there for the 47, it wasn't like, oh, we'll just try it. It was, no, Liam can absolutely make this. So it was a reasonable decision to make, and we we have a bunch of kickers that we feel really good about, and it's a competitive group, and I'm just happy that they were able to execute and do their job last night and put the points on the board.
Another group that you've had a hand in over the last few years, I talked about how the wide receiver room looks like a conveyor belt. You've had some great special teamers as well in the kickoff department, or in the kicking department and punting as well. I thought Liam does a good job there when everything goes smoothly. I think he's great. But I do want to talk. You mentioned kickoff coverage. I know we're kind of harping special teams here, but I wanted to bring one guy up. I felt like I know everybody really flies the ball in kickoff coverage. You guys have a great coverage setup, but I felt like Kylan O'Connor's been popping guys in the last couple of weeks.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
That is absolutely true. He was our special teams captain this week because of what he did on last Friday, and I don't even know how to describe him. He's just a absolute maniac on kickoff. He flies down there, and he has every intention of making the tackle every single time, and he does his job. He does his technique the right way, and he sets the tone for that group. Sometimes in special teams you get a mixed bag. You get some older guys, and then you get some younger guys that maybe aren't as confident, or whatever the case may be, and he helps set the tone and make sure those guys are ready to go. And he understands that a kickoff is a big play in the game because you're exchanging so much field position. So he's done a wonderful job, and I thought last night Jake Bivens did a nice job as well covering kicks. He's obviously a different build than Kylan, but he did some of the same things where he's just running through guys, ripping through another one, ducking in there, making a tackle, just crazy stuff to be doing at, what is he, 6'5"? Yeah. Just crazy plays. But those two stood out to me. And like I said, when we're covering 52 points worth of kickoffs, there's a lot of reps to go around, so I was proud of it.
You know, we got a new sponsor this year on our broadcast. Mead Lumber gives us like a big hit sponsorship. Yeah. It was easy to give out yesterday. Popping guys on special teams especially. So that made my job easier trying to find the right one for that. You got a game coming up next week. You're at home again. It's got to be nice to have the majority home schedule this year for you guys after it felt like a lot of travel last year. Douglas coming to town. What does the offense need to execute? What do you guys need to execute to get a win there?
Yeah, so nothing better than playing at Crane. You know, we love having these home games. You know, to execute against Douglas, we really need to clean things up. I'm still not at all happy with the procedural penalties and the things that we can control. You know, there's going to be stuff that we don't necessarily agree with that maybe a ref's going to make, but that's part of the game. And you know, the guys understand that. But it's the stuff that we're doing to ourselves that I have an issue with. And, you know, we got to get rid of the false starts, the illegal shifts, the illegal formations, just because guys aren't on or off. And, you know, there's just those small things that we need to clean up because, you know, it was a big win last night, but I'm a pretty critical coach. And so when I'm going through it, I'm seeing a lot of things that we need to get better at, the little things, you know, and that's something that, you know, we used to talk about in college a lot was, you know, it doesn't matter how small the thing is; it turns into a big thing pretty fast. And that, you know, starting 1st and 15, 60% of our drives, that's not a good thing. We don't want that. So I think just cleaning everything up and polishing those little things is going to help us to be very successful this week for a team that's going to come in. Like I said last night, they're not making a road trip to try to lose. They're going to make a road trip and try to take one from us, and we need to not let that happen. So.
Yeah, it'd be a buck to hang on the wall, so to speak, for Douglas, literally and figuratively. So you guys got to be prepared for that next week. Yeah. One final question for you. This is directly for you, Coach Hale.
Yes.
South Dakota State tonight on the road in Bozeman, Montana. What's the prediction there?
Well, I'll just go back to last week. My prediction was pretty good for the USD Iowa State game. I got that one pretty close. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, put our foot in our mouth on that one.
I have a lot of respect for Montana State.
Yeah.
And one time, I played there in college one time, and that was one of the loudest places I've ever been. And they treat it like an NFL game because that's kind of their thing. So I expect it to be a tightly contested game. I think both teams have a good front seven on the defensive side of the football. I think it's just going to come down to just the Jacks being just a little better. I got the Jacks by 5.
Jacks by 5. You know, as a Coyote, it's going to pain me to say this. I am rooting for the Jacks. Just, you know.
I love it.
If anyone's going to be the best, it might as well be the team that we're supposed to be rivals with.
State rivals,
Yeah, you always got to root for the state of South Dakota.
100%.
Absolutely.
Thank you both for taking time to come on here for the Huddling with the Herd, and congratulations on the win last night. Good luck next week against
Appreciate it. Thank you.
That was Brady Hale and Terry Huber here on KYNT and KYNTV. Come back in a couple minutes. Keep it rolling here on Huddling with the Herd.
Buying a home isn't just about real estate. It's about investing in yourself. At the Move Group, we believe the best time to buy is when it makes sense for you. Our expert agents put people before transactions, meaning we listen first, provide honest guidance, and help you make a confident decision. No pressure, no gimmicks. Markets change, but the right home is about more than just numbers. It's about finding the right fit for your life and your future. When you're ready, we're here to help. Contact the Move Group today.
Back to school is an exciting time for students. It can also be a very stressful time. This is Dr. Mackenzie Erlinson from First Chiropractic Centers. Heavy backpacks can cause injuries in children, so start the year off right and make sure your child's backpack weighs no more than 5 to 10% of their body weight and doesn't hang more than 4 inches below the waistline. For pain or discomfort resulting from backpack use, call First Chiropractic Centers. Making life better, one adjustment at a time.
Looking for fuel or more? Stop by Triple Time Rudy's, your locally owned convenience store at 17th and Broadway. At Triple Time Rudy's, they're proud to support the community, offering fuel discounts to Yankton's largest employers and backing local activities and events. Inside, you'll discover regional favorites like Dimmick Cheese and premium meats from the Kaler and Renner lockers. Whether it's a quick snack, a tank of top quality fuel, or a taste of local goodness, Triple Time Rudy's, fueling your day, fueling the community.
Are you looking to buy or sell a home but not sure where to start? I'm Deb Speck with Vision Real Estate, and I'm here to guide you every step of the way. With 20 years of experience and a passion for finding the perfect match, I'll work hard for you, answer all your questions along the way, and make it stress-free. Call me at 605-664-5555, and let's get moving.
Is it the competition that keeps bringing you back? The long-standing rivalries? Or is it seeing friends again and cheering on your favorite team? At First Dakota, we're here for it all. We appreciate the fans, the players, the coaches and officials, the concessions crew. The shared community experience is part of what makes life here great, and we're here for it. See you at the game. First Dakota National Bank, member FDIC.
Fall sports season is here, and so is Yankton Medical Clinic, with 3 orthopedic surgeons to keep you in the game. Whether you're gearing up for football, volleyball, soccer, or cross country, the YMC orthopedic team is ready to support your winning season. Stay in the game by seeing one of 3 board-certified orthopedic surgeons immediately. No referral necessary, no bouncing between buildings, and no hassles. Just complete orthopedic care when you need it most. Call today or visit yanktonmedicalclinic.com. So much care, so close to home.
Welcome back in here, KYNT, KYN-TV. It's Huddling with the Herd. Time to talk, or keep talking, Yankton Bucks football. We got Dan Schwach and TJ Beacom now in the booth. Coach Beacom works with the quarterbacks, and Coach Schwach with the defensive line, and then obviously working with the JV as well. We'll start focusing on last night, a big win over the Watertown Arrows, the defending AA state champions, and it was a bit of a different task for the D-line, just looking at the paper. Offensive line last week for Huron, a little smaller than the one this week for Watertown, but I thought your unit played great in the trenches there.
Absolutely. Knew the big key all night was stopping the quarterback. We were a little good athletic quarterback, nervous he could run a little bit on us, so worked together as a unit and just trying to play unselfish, not only amongst our defensive teammates, but amongst the linemen, and rush together and made a few plays here and there and some good tackles. But, I mean, all in all, I didn't see the final stats. 60-some rush yards is all. So, I mean, we're going to count that up as a big win and be pretty proud of that number and keep working to maybe even shrink that a little bit.
Yeah, it ended up, I think, 1 or 2 plays, Watertown got most of their yards on there, that 70-yard touchdown pass. But rushing-wise, you really held them in check, which is impressive considering, I know size isn't everything, but that's an offensive line that does have some size to them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's Watertown's MO. I mean, they just keep finding guys that are 250-plus pounds, and knew it was going to be a tall task, and we're probably going to be outsized, but use some of our athleticism and technique, and guys did a great job.
Yeah, I don't know what the lunch program is at the Watertown School District, but it's working for those guys.
That's right.
Switching gears a little bit here, talking offensive side of the ball. Coach Beacom, your quarterbacks had a solid first 2 weeks of the season. It felt like he was connecting on the deep balls a little more this week, too, and that really elevated his game. We had him unofficially just over 300 yards passing, 5 total touchdowns for Tate Bestie. Just talk about him and how he leads that room and commands the offense.
Yeah, I thought he did a really good job of taking what they gave him, and then that opens up those big plays later. You get those defensive backs to bite up a little bit, and then, we hit the big shots later on in the game. So, yeah, he's had a good start.
I talked to Coach Muth about it a little earlier on, but it's got to feel good as working with the quarterbacks, seeing last week he had an Owen Eidsness double move on the outside. Tate leaves it a little bit behind him. Ends up in a big game, but could have been a touchdown. Felt like the same exact play ran this week. Leads him out in front, 55-yard touchdown.
Yeah, much better throw this week. Now that those are on tape, though, those are going to be harder to come by, I think. So.
Yeah, it's once you put those double moves on tape a little bit, but it felt like wide receivers do a really good job of getting open. I know Owen had a big day, but Abe O'Brien caught a touchdown too, a little tip drill for him. It feels like Bestie really has a good rapport with anybody in that receiving room.
He does. He's, worked a lot with Owen and Abe, and then even like Boom last night stepping up. Yeah.
And then you throw in Cale Hazelhorse too, who Josh and I on the broadcast compared to Jimmy Graham in a way, just a really tall, athletic guy who's listed at tight end, but you split him out as more of a Y set and everything. And it just felt like the offense was really clicking. I mean, putting up 52 points. Now the defense and special teams helped, but 52 points over 400 yards, that offense had to be clicking.
Yeah, we were really happy. I think we had almost 100 yards rushing too. So, real good night offensively.
I want to switch back to the D line here. A guy who stuck out. He's stuck out a little bit the first 2 weeks. A name that I don't remember from years past. William Yugowski. I thought he's been playing pretty well on the defensive line in the heart of it.
Well, you actually wouldn't remember from year past is because this is his first time playing football since freshman year. And I was actually his freshman coach at the time. We've kind of been talking to him. The guys are talking to him. He's an absolute stud in track, a stud in the weight room. And I had high projections for him as a freshman, and he's kind of met those even with a little bit of a break. But, got to start against Huron and a little bit nervous, I think, but settled in. And, you hear his name, and his name takes a little bit while to say on the line or on the PA system. So I kind of hear his name announced, and he's getting in there making tackles and doing the unselfish things. It's been a lot of fun to coach him this year.
Yeah, it's lucky running against teams that still huddle up. If it was against Yankton, you get his full name out, and they're already snapping the ball again.
Oh, trust me, running the scout defense, I know.
It feels still keeping on the D line. It feels like you got a good rotation of guys, both interior and on the edge. I know Edley Amaro and Talon Kinney are kind of like your main edge guys, but I think Jake Bivens rotating in really well. And I know dealing with an injury right now, but I know Easton Feeser supposed to rotate into there too.
Yeah, Fees is back by me in practice, soaking up mental reps every day. We got Bivy in Huron, and he just kind of does what he kind of always does when he gets in the game and made a few plays. So we're like, oh, we got to get you out there a little more. And those other two ends, Talon and Ed, are playing on offense a little bit. So, staying fresh. Austin Conway and Dre's kind of rotating in the middle. We get Peyton, Huey in on third downs and kind of settling in and keeping everyone fresh, and it's paying off so far.
It feels like all over that defense, but you mentioned a couple of names just on the defensive line. You got a lot of wrestlers who work on the defensive side of the ball, understand leverage a little bit. I know Peyton Eustace wrestles. I know Edley wrestles. I think in the linebacker course, Chase Platt. I'm not sure who else on the team is there, but it feels like multi-sport athletes all over.
A lot of the teams, a lot of wrestlers. Ben Bowman used to, and then Jolton and a lot of the guys. They're just tough little wrestlers and know how to wrap up and kind of get aggressive and make plays.
I know you guys lead the JV squad as well, so we'll talk about them a little bit. Tough game. It ends up a 55-0 loss to Pierre. Jackson Kudera, 163 yards through the air. Sawyer Mybaum had 5 catches for 68 yards, kind of leading that receiving core. And if memory serves me right from basketball, Sawyer's a fairly big kid, 6'3", 6'4", maybe even 6'5", and I know Kudera is a young guy as a sophomore, so to see him get a little over 160 yards passing as well.
Yeah, did a nice job passing, moving the ball. I think we had the ball inside the 10-yard line 3 times in the first half, and we just couldn't convert. But, we had some success passing the ball, and Sawyer's done a nice job for us out at the X position. A big, tall guy can go up and make plays. And Jack's had a pretty nice start. Hopefully we can get some running game going to help balance that out and have some success Monday.
Yeah, and you mentioned success Monday. Huron, is that home or at Huron for that JV game? I did not have that.
That will be at home.
That'll be at home. So at Crane, you got Huron coming. What's the game plan for there? What do you guys got to execute on the JV side to get a win there?
Well, we need to get a win, I guess, get a little confidence going back. They're going to run just like their varsity. Not sure how deep they are. That's kind of always hard to say on JV rosters. I mean, judging from the varsity roster, there's quite a few younger guys playing up. So hopefully that gives our guys some confidence. Hopefully went through some growing pains with some broken coverages. And, well, basically, I mean, development, right, is the number one part of the game. And we make our mistakes on Mondays rather than Fridays in the future. So, and that was kind of Coach Beacom and I were talking, watching the game in the room over there. And we're like, man, those guys were all on JV last year. You mentioned all those wide receivers and quarterbacks and our defensive backs. I mean, we're like, the program's doing what it's supposed to be, I guess, wins or losses. So at the JV level.
And it feels like that's been a staple of the Bucks program for the last couple of years now, just rotating those guys in who wait their turn. They'll play on JV, and then they get their start as upperclassmen and really shine at the varsity level too.
Yep, absolutely.
Speaking of the varsity level, we'll go back. I've talked to every coach about it so far, but you got Douglas next week. What's the big keys there trying to get a win over the Patriots?
I think the big thing, looking at the score sheets, they've had a tough start to the season. So, number one, just treat it like a normal week and game plan, and hopefully another week to get guys like Fees and a couple of them healthy, and just keep doing our thing and just get ready for Douglas.
Yeah, just don't be complacent and find something to get better at each day at practice and during the week.
All right, one final question here for you. It's for you, Coach Beacom. I did the same thing with Coach Hale because he's a South Dakota State fan. I had to ask him what his prediction is tonight. I heard you're a Nebraska fan. I'm wearing my Husker jersey right now. People can't see, but trust me, I am. Akron tonight.
Yeah, Nebraska big. Go Big Red.
It's the tough Zips. I don't know. You got to be worried about those MAC teams. But I think it should be a good game. And I was impressed with what I saw last week with Raiola. I know it ended up being only a 3-point win over Cincinnati. It really easily could have been more if a few things get executed differently. So I'm excited to see how they do tonight.
Me too.
And if you want to listen to that live, there's a little cross promotion here. Riverfront Broadcasting Station 93.1 FM. We're going to have that pregame coverage starts at 2:30. Long pregame show for the Huskers. 6:30 p.m. kickoff in Lincoln. So there's that for you. But Coach Beacom, Coach Schwach, thanks for coming in and talking today. Congrats on the win last night, and good luck next week.
Thank you.
We're going to take a break here on Huddling with the Herd. Come back. We're going to start talking Yankton soccer here on KYNT and KYN TV.
Recently, a small business owner came into the UPS store to pick up a banner we printed for her latest event. As we rolled it up, she asked if we also designed brochures. The answer? Absolutely. We can help with that too. For over 7 years, the UPS store in Yankton has been helping customers with all kinds of printing, from large banners to detailed brochures. Come see us today and find out how we can assist with your next big project. And don't forget to ask about our print specials.
Save time when you shop online with Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee makes it easy to order groceries online through our app or Hy-Vee.com. Pickup is always free. And if you have a Perks Plus membership, you get free delivery and free express pickup. Shop online with Hy-Vee and you can create and save grocery lists, shop the sales, and get fuel savers. Talk about convenience. Order groceries online today. Check out Hy-Vee.com or download the Hy-Vee app.
Welcome back in here, KYNT, KYN TV. Let's start talking Yankton Bucks and Gazelles soccer. We're also going to speak about Gazelles volleyball here on Huddling with the Herd. Yankton soccer will start with the Bucks. 2-0 this week for the Yankton Bucks soccer program. 3 straight victories dating back to last Thursday, so a lot of success in the last 9 or 10 days for the Bucks. It started on Tuesday, defeating Brookings 4-2. Nolan Pacheco, Jack Pedersen, Tony Guitron, and Gibson Brooks all getting on the score sheet. With Brooks, very nice shot from him. Actually ended up squeezing out of a hole in the backside of the net, so I thought it went wide left at first on the broadcast, but huge strike for him to get on the score sheet. Budig makes 5 saves. That's Andrew Budig in net. Jack Pedersen, Kevin Ortiz, and Christian Pacheco all credited with assists. They used that momentum to pick up their 3rd straight win on Thursday against a tough O'Gorman team on the road. And Yankton had been free-flowing, scoring goals. They had a 3-0 win against T, 4-2 against Brookings. This one was a rock fight on Thursday. 1-0 ends up being the final score line over O'Gorman. Devin Out gets on the score sheet, assisted by Jack Pedersen. Andrew Budig, stout as always in between the sticks, made 8 saves in the shutout. Switch gears to the Gazelles real quick. We'll talk about what's next for the Bucks at the same time as the Gazelles. It's a boys, girls, and doubleheader on Tuesday. The Gazelles, a pair of draws this week. 1-1 with Brookings on Tuesday. Eden Wolfgram scored in that one with the assist from Jocelyn Elwood. Elena Monin, steady as always in net, made 5 saves for the Gazelles. Talking to head coach Tyler Schering after that game, it's just a few of those final passes, those final opportunities just didn't come to fruition for Yankton. Felt that if a couple things go differently, they could have put more goals on the board, and want to use that as a wake-up call. They go on the road against a tough O'Gorman squad on Thursday, and they play 80 minutes of scoreless soccer. A 0-0 draw, it ends up in Sioux Falls. Elena Monin gets 3 shots stopped in the draw. So the defense played well. They only gave up 3 shots on goal, and Monin stopped all of them for the Gazelles. Up next for Yankton Soccer, they host Brandon Valley on Tuesday in a doubleheader. The Bucks play first at 5 p.m. with the Gazelles to follow. Their kickoffs usually around 7. Pre-game coverage right here, KYNT and KYN-TV, begins at 4 p.m. Tuesday afternoon. I'll be on the broadcast for that one, so join me for Yankton Bucks and Gazelles Soccer. Now let's switch gears and talk Yankton Gazelles volleyball. Had a busy week, multiple games, as they had a 3-match tournament on Saturday. That's last Saturday, 1 and 2 at the tournament in Norfolk. They fell to Norfolk and Bennington 2-0 down in Nebraska, but they did sweep South Sioux City 2-0, picking up their first win of the season. And then Thursday, a just otherworldly challenge in Harrisburg, a team that's the defending Class AA champions, looks to be reloaded. The Tigers have dropped 1 set all season so far. It ended up in a 3-0 sweep for Harrisburg over the Gazelles. 25-11 set 1, and then 25-8 in set 2 and set 3. The Gazelles will host Sioux Falls, Washington on Monday and Sioux Falls, Roosevelt on Tuesday for this coming week. So a couple matches back-to-back for the Gazelles, and both matches will start at 6:30 p.m. at Yankton High School, the Summit Activity Center for the Gazelles. We got some big news for Gazelles tennis, as that's what we're going to talk about real quick. Congratulations, Nora Kraske, earlier this week, setting a new school record for individual wins with 149, as Yankton swept their triangular with O'Gorman and Brandon Valley, defeating O'Gorman 6-3, Brandon Valley 5-4. That was back on Tuesday. Nora Kraske kept things rolling yesterday, and the entire Yankton squad did, as they defeated Sioux Falls Jefferson 5-3. Nora and Sabrina Kraske, as well as Carolyn Corner, all won in singles play. Nora and Sabrina also won their doubles match, as did Corner and Megan Scott. Yankton would then sweep Spearfish to round out the day yesterday 9-0, so everybody got a win against Spearfish yesterday for the Gazelle squad. Congratulations to them. They're having a great start to their season. I say start. We're over a month into their season now, but great season so far for Gazelles tennis. Next for the Gazelles is a home duel against Sioux Falls Roosevelt this coming Tuesday. Matches are scheduled to begin at 4 p.m. at the Summit Activity Center tennis courts. So good luck to them. And once again, congratulations to Nora Kraske. She set a new school record for individual wins earlier this week, had 149. That's up to 151 at least now, with 2 singles wins yesterday for Nora. Just one of the greatest tennis players, statistically the greatest Gazelles tennis player right now in terms of singles wins. And her and her sister Sabrina are just 2 incredible athletes, especially when they're working together for doubles play. If you watch them on the court, they're something special to watch. Feels like the entire Kraske family is just great with a racket in their hands. Of course, their brother Miles, a Paralympic medalist in badminton. Their brother Harrison, also a great athlete. We're going to talk about him a little later on in a different sport, but it's just a great family of athletes there for the Kraskes. We're going to take another quick break here on Huddling with the Herd. We still got to discuss Bucks golf, as well as Yankton cross country and competitive cheer and dance. Still plenty to come. We got to make sure we're keeping base with everybody here on KYNT and KYN-TV. Coming back after this break, we're talking golf, cross country, and competitive cheer and dance here on KYNT, KYN-TV.
Have aches and pains taken you out of your game? Sports injuries can happen quickly, posing threats to your health and ability to participate in your regular athletic activities. I'm Dr. Mackenzie Erlinson from First Chiropractic Centers. Chiropractic care can provide pain relief from sore and aching muscles and lead to faster recovery after workout by easing the inflammation you experience, like stiffness, pain, or restricted movement. Visit with us about managing your sports injuries. First Chiropractic Centers, making life better, one adjustment at a time.
Ever have one of those days? Your car breaks down, your dog decides your couch is a chew toy, and oh yeah, a tree falls on your roof. Don't worry, Missouri River Associates has you covered. Auto, home, pet mishaps, we're here for all of life's little oops moments. Call 665-6885 for your free quote, because life happens, and we're ready for it.
At Vision Care Associates, we're always improving our technology for the health of your eyes. With OptiMap dilation-free exams, you get a comprehensive view of your retina without the need for dilation eye drops. It's quick, easy, and best of all, it keeps your day interruption-free. OptiMap captures a detailed image of your eye, helping to detect any problems. No blurriness, no discomfort, just clear, precise results. Book your OptiMap exam now.
Vision Care Associates, where the health of your eyes comes first.
Credit union people are my people. Dreaming big, keeping life simple. Saving smart, living free. At Explorers Credit Union, you're just like me. We chart new trails, we stand tall. Together we rise, together we call. Credit union people are my people, it's true. And I found my crew at Explorers CU. Federally insured by NCUA. Visit ExplorerCU.com to join the journey today.
Welcome back here on Huddling with the Herd on KYNT, KYN-TV. I am Brayden Butler. Wrapping up Bucks and Gazelles athletics this week, let's start talking about Yankton Bucks golf. Marchand Cup earlier this week for the Bucks against the Mitchell Colonels, and they would defeat Mitchell in that Marchand Cup. The Marchand Cup, if you're unfamiliar, is a Ryder Cup style competition that saw Yankton win 14.5 to 9.5, defeating Mitchell in all three disciplines. The Bucks won 4-ball, 4-2. They won the scramble 3.5 to 2.5, and then took a 7-5 decision in singles play as well. Congrats to the Bucks on the Marchand Cup victory earlier this week over the Colonels. But that did not end their week for Yankton golf. They got fourth yesterday at an event in Brandon, shooting .317 as a unit. Gus Sprakel and Elijah Larson led the way, tying for 10th individually. And they get to return to home sweet home next Friday, Hillcrest Golf and Country Club, for a home invitational. 10 a.m. tee time on that one. Bucks have had a solid start to the season. They look to keep that rolling next week at home on Friday. Now, Yankton Bucks and Gazelles cross country, a huge meet for them yesterday. The Augustana Twilight meet, hundreds of athletes from not only South Dakota, there's some from Minnesota, and I assume Nebraska and Iowa as well, the entire quad state area, so to speak. They're really going out and competing up in Sioux Falls. Yankton finished 15th on the Bucks side and 31st as a team on the Gazelles side. Harrison Kraske led the Bucks, 39th place individually, finishing in 15 minutes, 53.73 seconds. The Gazelles' highest finishers finished fairly close to each other. Rylan Jackson placed 113th, and Abby Johansson finished 115th. But there were hundreds of athletes competing at this event. Next up for Yankton, they got the Brandon Valley Invitational on September 13th, so that is next Saturday, a week off for cross country. We had a chance to speak to head coach Mitchell Gullickson of the Bucks and Gazelles cross country program, new head coach last week, so I want to thank him now, a week later as well, for talking to us here on KYNT and KYN-TV, and good luck to the cross country program there in his first year, as it seems like they're doing a good job out of the gate. Lastly, here on Huddling with the Herd, competitive cheer and dance. They've had a solid start to the season. Yankton finished 5th in dance and 10th in cheer at Thursday's Varsity Invitational in Mitchell. Dance scored a 35, taking 5th place out of 17 teams, and they were led by a 3rd place finish in the palm discipline. Cheer scored a 220, finishing 10th out of 20 teams, so right dead center for the Gazelles. Yankton gets to come home for their next competition. That one takes place on September 11th next week. Home competition at the Summit Activities Center in Yankton. So solid start to the season for competitive cheer and dance. Solid performance earlier this week. They look to keep it rolling next week, and they get to perform in front of their home crowd. That's always nice for any athlete, getting to perform in front of your home crowd. You got parents or grandparents who can't always make the trip out on these road trips that Yankton, I know, goes on. So playing or performing and competing at home is always so important for the Bucks and Gazelles. And that is the easiest way to segue into go out and support the Bucks and Gazelles and all they do. I know football was the big win last night, but football, soccer, volleyball, cross country, tennis, competitive cheer and dance, golf. Get out there and support the Bucks and Gazelles. These athletes work hard. They love what they do. They perfect their craft. And at the end of the day, it's kids having fun out there in athletics. And that's all we want out of Yankton athletics. Winning's great, but these kids go out there and having a great time. That's the important thing, especially at the high school level. That's going to do it for Huddling with the Herd this week. Big thank you to the Yankton Bucks football coaching staff coming in and talking this morning. Big thank you to Pizza Ranch. They're located out on Broadway. Legendary chicken and the best pizza. We had a couple of their pizzas this morning here for Huddling with the Herd, so big thank you to them for providing that. And, of course, thank you to Explorers Credit Union for sponsoring Huddling with the Herd. Discover the difference with them at explorerscu.com. Explorers Credit Union here in Yankton. It's going to do it for another week of Huddling with the Herd. I have been Brayden Butler. We'll be back here next week with more for Yankton High School Athletics. Until next time, go Bucks, go Gazelles, and as always, stay safe, be good people, and have a great weekend, everybody.
FM 1021 and AM 1450 KYNT Yankton.